Picture a lighthouse standing unyielding on a jagged cliff, battered by the fiercest of storms. Waves crash, winds howl, yet it remains a silent sentinel, piercing the darkness with its unshakable beam. You too are caught in life's tempests, aren't you? You chase fleeting sparks of motivation, believing they'll guide you to your dreams. But those sparks flicker and die when the rain falls hardest. What if I told you that motivation is a mirage, a false promise that fades when you need it most? In this journey of forging your greatness, you don't need a fleeting flame. You need a standard, a lighthouse of your own making that endures every storm. Welcome to the truth: you don't need motivation. You need a standard. Let's shatter the illusion of motivation and uncover the bedrock of lasting success. Feel the ground beneath you. It's time to stand firm. Imagine yourself on day one of a fitness journey. Your heart races with excitement as you lace up new sneakers, the gym buzzing with possibility. You've got a playlist of fire, a vision of a stronger, healthier you. The first workout is electric. Every push-up feels like a triumph, every bead of sweat a badge of honor. You're unstoppable. Social media posts declare your transformation has begun. But then week two arrives. Muscles ache in ways you didn't expect. The alarm blares at 5 a.m., and the bed feels like a sanctuary. The thrill is gone. Rain pelts the window, and you think, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week, then next month. The gym bag gathers dust in the corner, a silent monument to a dream abandoned. Why did you stop? It wasn't the pain or the early mornings. It was the mirage of motivation drying up. You relied on that initial rush, that temporary wave of energy to carry you through. But life doesn't bow to fleeting feelings. The storm of discomfort rolled in, and without a deeper anchor, you drifted. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire, which transcends everything. Desire alone isn't enough if it's not tethered to something unmovable. What if instead of chasing the high of motivation, you had built a standard, a non-negotiable promise to show up, storm or shine? Like a lighthouse enduring the gale, a standard would have held you steady when the excitement waned. The lesson is clear: feelings fade, but a standard stands. Now see yourself as an aspiring writer hunched over a desk with a steaming mug of coffee, the glow of a laptop illuminating your face. An idea for a novel has struck like lightning, a story so vivid you can't sleep until it's on the page. The first chapter flows like a river, words pouring out effortlessly. You're crafting worlds, breathing life into characters. Friends cheer your progress, and you dream of holding a published book in your hands. But then the river slows to a trickle. Chapter 2 feels like wading through mud. Self-doubt creeps in. Is this even good? The blank page stares back, mocking your silence. Life gets busy, work errands, distractions. That initial burst of inspiration has vanished, and so has your drive. The document sits untouched for months, a half-built bridge to nowhere. What happened here? You leaned on the spark of inspiration, mistaking it for the fuel of creation. Motivation tricked you into believing the journey would always feel easy, that passion alone would carry you to the end. But storms of doubt and fatigue are inevitable. Without a standard, a commitment to write even when the muse is silent, you capsized. Picture a lighthouse on a foggy shore, its beam cutting through uncertainty. A standard is that beam guiding you when inspiration abandons ship. As Stephen King once said On Writing, amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. The takeaway burns. Bright motivation is a guest who leaves without warning. A standard is the foundation of your craft. Pause for a moment and look within. How many times have you chased the shimmering illusion of motivation only to find it dissolve when the path grew steep? Motivation is like a desert mirage, beautiful, enticing, but ultimately empty. It promises quick transformation, whispering that success comes from feeling ready or inspired. Yet when the winds of challenge blow, it scatters like sand. You've felt this, haven't you? That surge of excitement for a new goal, followed by the hollow ache when the thrill evaporates. Why do we keep falling for this trick? Why do we believe a fleeting emotion can sustain a lifelong climb? Consider the lighthouse on that stormy cliff. It doesn't wait for clear skies to shine. It doesn't falter when waves tower above it. Its purpose is unwavering, its beam, a constant in chaos. That's what a standard offers you, a fixed point to anchor your actions when motivation flees. It's not about feeling good, it's about being resolute. Pain, doubt, and exhaustion will come. They are the storm. But a standard is your stone, your unyielding vow to press on. Motivation seeks comfort. A standard forges strength. Which will you choose when the tempest rages? Think deeper now. How many dreams have you buried because the initial fire of motivation burned out? How many unfinished projects, half-hearted promises, and abandoned paths litter your past? We've all been there, chasing sparks instead of building a lasting flame. Motivation is a seductive liar. It tells you that success is a sprint, a burst of energy that will carry you to the finish line. But life is no sprint. It's an endless ocean crossing, full of storms and still waters alike. Relying on motivation is like sailing with a torn map. You'll drift aimlessly when the winds of enthusiasm die. Return to the lighthouse. It stands as a symbol of what you must become. It doesn't flicker with the mood of the sea. It holds its ground, a standard of reliability for every lost ship. Your goals deserve that same steadfastness. A standard isn't swayed by how you feel on a given day. It's a promise carved in granite. You show up, you act, you endure. Motivation might light the match, but a standard keeps the forge burning. Pain isn't your enemy, it's the hammer shaping your will. Stop chasing fleeting sparks. Build a beacon that no storm can extinguish. When the mirage of motivation fades and you're tempted to quit, pause. Don't let emotion steer your ship. Take a breath and anchor yourself with a simple, powerful decision. Ask yourself, what is my standard? Write it down if you must, a single sentence that defines your commitment. Maybe it's I train 3 times a week no matter how I feel, or I write 500 words daily even if they're imperfect. This isn't about inspiration, it's about identity. You're not someone who waits for the right mood, you're someone who acts on principle. Then take one small step. If the gym feels like a mountain, just put on your shoes. If the blank page taunts you, write one sentence. Action builds momentum, and momentum rebuilds resolve. Remember, a lighthouse doesn't question its purpose when the storm hits. It shines. So must you. Keep this written standard somewhere visible, a note on your mirror, a reminder on your phone. Glance at it when doubt creeps in. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to honor your word. Start there, and the storm will pass. Here's another tool to shatter the illusion of motivation. Shift your focus from how you feel to what you do. Motivation judges progress by excitement. Are you pumped to keep going? But that's a trap. Instead, measure your journey by effort. Did you show up today? Did you take a step, however small, toward your goal? Track these actions in a journal or app. Mark each day you uphold your standard, whether it's a workout completed or a page written. These are your bricks building a fortress of discipline. When the emotional high of motivation vanishes, these records become your proof. They remind you that progress isn't tied to feelings, it's tied to consistency. As Jim Rohn once said, motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Turn your standard into habit by celebrating small wins, not fleeting thrills. Feeling tired, irrelevant, showed up anyway. That's victory. Let effort be your compass, guiding you through the fog when motivation deserts you. Stand like the lighthouse, unmoved by the tide defined by your purpose. You've walked through the mirage of motivation and seen its empty promises. It lures you with bursts of excitement only to abandon you when the storm of life rages. Through the stories of the fading fitness journey and the unfinished novel, you've felt the sting of relying on fleeting feelings. Through reflection, you've uncovered the truth. Motivation is a spark that dies in the wind, while a standard is a lighthouse enduring every gale. With practical steps, you've learned to anchor yourself in decision and measure progress, by effort, not emotion. The key lesson burns bright. You don't need motivation to fuel your dreams. You need a standard to guide your actions. As we move forward, prepare to dig deeper into crafting that unshakable standard, a foundation so strong that no storm can shake it. For now, hold this truth close. When the waves of doubt and fatigue crash against you, remember your lighthouse. Let it stand as your vow to endure. Final mantra, stand firm. Your lighthouse shines through any storm. Picture a mountain ancient and unyielding, carved by the relentless hands of time. Its peaks pierce the heavens, not because it sought to impress, but because it stood firm through storms, erosion, and the chaos of centuries. That mountain is your standard, a bedrock of unshakable principles that shapes your strength, no matter the winds of doubt or the rains of despair. You don't climb it for fleeting bursts of motivation. You ascend because you've chosen to live by something greater, something enduring. Welcome to the heart of a truth that will redefine your journey. You don't need motivation, you need a standard. Motivation is a spark bright but fickle, vanishing when the night grows cold. A standard, however, is your compass, your granite foundation. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're uninspired, or if the world tells you to quit. It demands you show up day after day because that's who you are. In this section, we'll forge your understanding of what a standard truly is and why it towers over fleeting emotion as the guiding force of your life. Feel the weight of this truth. Are you ready to build something that lasts? Imagine yourself as a student drowning in a sea of deadlines, exams, and late-night doubts. Your desk is cluttered with textbooks, your mind heavy with the temptation to scroll through distractions or collapse into sleep. You've felt the rush of motivation before those first days of a semester when you swore this time would be different. But now weeks in that fire has dimmed. Your mood sways like a leaf in the wind, and the thought of studying feels like scaling a sheer cliff with no rope. Yet something within you stirs. You've set a standard every day, no matter how you feel. You will dedicate 2 hours to mastering your craft. Not because you're inspired, but because excellence is your non-negotiable. There are nights when your eyes burn, when every word on the page feels like a battle. You stumble, miss concepts, and wonder if it's worth it. Friends invite you out, promising relief, and the voice of ease whispers, "Just skip tonight. Start fresh tomorrow." But you don't. You sit, you study, you grind. Why? Because you've carved a mountain in your soul, a standard of discipline that doesn't bend to mood or circumstance. Over weeks, then months, the habit forms like bedrock. Your grades climb not from bursts of genius, but from the quiet, unyielding choice to show up. You're no longer at the mercy of fleeting feelings. You've built something stronger. The lesson here is as solid as that ancient mountain forged by time. Standards shape your strength. They transform you from a drifter swayed by every emotional gust into a force of nature. You don't wait to feel ready. You act because that's the person you've chosen to be. As Part Takeaway reminds us, a standard is your anchor when motivation fails. Now step into the shoes of a small business owner. You've poured your heart into this venture, every penny, every sleepless night, every dream. But the market is ruthless. Competitors undercut prices, clients demand impossible deadlines, and a tempting shortcut looms a shady deal that could save your struggling company overnight. It's not illegal, just a quiet compromise, a bending of your values for just this once. Motivation tells you to take it. After all, you're passionate about surviving, aren't you? But deep within, you've set a standard. Integrity is your cornerstone, no matter the cost. You wrestle with the decision. The pressure mounts like a gathering storm, threatening to erode everything you've built. Saying no could mean losing a major client or delaying payroll. Yet you stand firm. You look that temptation in the eye and refuse to flinch. You choose the harder path, transparent communication, honest work, even if it means short-term pain. Months later, word spreads. Clients trust you not because you're the cheapest or the fastest, but because your word is iron. Your business grows not on shortcuts, but on a reputation as unyielding as a mountain. This story echoes the metaphor of a mountain forged by time. Your principles, when held without compromise, shape a strength that no storm can shatter. Integrity becomes your summit, visible to all, drawing respect and loyalty. As Part Takeaway teaches, a standard isn't just a rule. It's the very core of who you are when no one is watching. Let's pause and dig deeper. What is a standard truly? It's not a goal, not a fleeting desire, nor a wish whispered in the dark. A standard is the line you draw on the earth, the boundary you refuse to cross, the commitment you honor when every fiber of your being screams to give up. It's the mountain forged by time within you, unyielding, unmoved by the tempests of emotion or the lure of ease. Motivation is a river rushing with power one day, drying to a trickle the next. A standard, however, is the stone beneath that river, steady and unchanging, guiding its flow even when the current falters. Think about it. How many times have you relied on a burst of inspiration only to crash when it faded? How often have you let your feelings dictate your actions, abandoning your path at the first sign of struggle? A standard doesn't ask how you feel. It asks who you are. It's the voice that says, you don't skip this workout because strength is your identity. It's the resolve that declares you don't lie because truth is your shield. While motivation seeks comfort, a standard seeks character. It forges you in the fires of consistency until you become something greater than your excuses. This is why a standard surpasses motivation as your guiding force. It's not swayed by the weather of your mind. Like that mountain, it stands through every season, shaping your strength with every choice to honor it. As part takeaway reveals, when you live by a standard, you build a life that endures. Living by a standard isn't easy. Let's be clear, it demands sacrifice. It means saying no when yes feels sweeter. It means walking alone when the crowd veers off course. It means enduring the ache of discipline when motivation has long since fled. But isn't that the point? A mountain isn't formed in a day. It's sculpted by the slow, relentless pressure of time, by forces that grind and carve without mercy. So too is your character shaped by the standards you uphold even when they hurt. Consider the cost. When you commit to a standard, you surrender the luxury of impulse. You can't indulge every whim or hide behind, I'm not in the mood. But what do you gain? You gain trust in yourself and your choices in your path. You gain a quiet power, the kind that doesn't need applause or validation. You become the mountain unshakable in a world of shifting sands. Have you ever noticed how the tallest peaks don't beg for attention? They simply are. That's the reward of a standard. You become a presence of force, a person who others look to when the storms rage. This is the deeper truth of why standards outshine motivation. Motivation seeks the summit for glory. A standard builds the foundation for eternity. As outed part takeaway drives home, it's not about feeling inspired, it's about becoming unbreakable. Now let's turn philosophy into action. How do you build a standard that holds when motivation crumbles? Start small, but start now. Choose one area of your life, be it your work, health, or relationships, and define a non-negotiable. Maybe it's waking at 5 a.m. to train no matter the weather. Maybe it's speaking with honesty even when the truth stings. Write it down, make it real, say it aloud, this is who I am. Next, anticipate the resistance. Your mind will rebel. Fatigue will whisper. Distractions will beckon. Prepare for these battles by anchoring your standard to a deeper why. Why does this matter? Is it to become stronger for your family? To honor a promise to yourself? Keep that reason close like a flame in the dark. When doubt creeps in, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself a mountain doesn't bow to a passing storm. Finally, act daily. Standards aren't built in grand gestures, but in the quiet repetition of choice. Show up even when you don't feel like it. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, success comes to those who become success conscious. Make your standard your consciousness. Let it guide every step. With each day you honor it, you carve deeper into the bedrock of who you are. Once your standard is set, defend it fiercely. The world will test you. Circumstances will push you to compromise. Here's how to stand firm. First, create boundaries. If your standard is to work undistracted for 3 hours, daily silence your phone. Remove temptations. Build a fortress around your commitment. Second, track your adherence. Use a simple journal or app to mark each day you've lived by your standard. Seeing the streak grow fuels your resolve. When you falter and don't spiral into shame. Reflect, ask, what pulled me off course? How can I fortify my defenses, then recommit? As Jim Rohn once said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Your standard is that bridge. Protect it. Rebuild it if it cracks. Over time, defending it becomes second nature, and you'll find yourself standing taller, stronger like a mountain unmoved by the winds of whim. Let's close this exploration with a final thought. Your standards are more than rules. They are your legacy. They are the story others will tell of you long after you're gone. Motivation may win you a moment of fleeting cheer, but standards build a monument. They are the mountain forged by time, visible across generations, a testament to the principles you refuse to abandon. What will your mountain look like? Will it be one of integrity, of perseverance, of quiet strength? Think of the people you admire most. Rarely do we honor those who chase fleeting highs. We revere those who stood for something, who lived by a code, even when it cost them dearly. That's the power of a standard. It transcends your lifetime. It shapes not just your strength, but the strength of those who witness your resolve. As a takeaway, underscores a standard isn't just your guide, it's your gift to the world. As we step back from this exploration of standards, let the weight of this truth settle into your bones. A standard is not a fleeting whim or a spark of motivation that fades with the dawn. It's the mountain within you, forged by time, unyielding in its principles, shaping your strength through every storm you face. You've seen it in the student who studies through exhaustion, in the business owner who chooses integrity over ease. You've felt it in the reflections that challenge you to rise above emotion, and in the practical steps that ground your resolve. Takeaway is your cornerstone. Carry it forward. Your journey doesn't end here. There are more heights to conquer, more depths to forge. In the next stretch of this path, we'll uncover how to wield your standard as a weapon against the chaos of life. Until then, stand firm. Let your principles be your bedrock. Let your choices echo like thunder across the peaks of your potential. Final mantra: stand as the mountain. Your strength is timeless. Picture yourself as a blacksmith standing before a roaring furnace, hammer in hand, sweat tracing lines down your weathered face. The raw iron before you is unformed, rough, and resistant, a blade yet to be born. Every strike you deliver shapes it, hones it, transforms it into something unbreakable. But the heat is relentless, and the weight of the hammer tests your resolve. Will you falter, or will you forge on? This is the essence of your journey. Standards are not gifts. They are forged through deliberate, unrelenting effort. In the chaos of life's challenges, when motivation fades like a dying ember, it is your personal standards, your iron will, that hold you steady. Welcome to the heart of our shared struggle. You don't need motivation. You need a standard. In this crucible of forging your iron will, we dive deep into the art of creating and upholding personal standards amidst the storms of doubt, rejection, and distraction. You are not here to chase fleeting bursts of inspiration. You are here to build something enduring, a code, a resolve, a blade of purpose that cuts through life's obstacles. Feel the heat of this moment. Let it awaken you. Together, we will explore how to shape your standards with intention, to stand firm when the world pushes back, and to emerge stronger, sharper, unbreakable. Are you ready to strike the iron while it burns? Imagine yourself as a young professional, heart pounding with ambition, stepping into a world that seems to reject you at every turn. You've poured months into crafting a proposal for a dream project, a vision that could redefine your career. You present it with fire in your voice, only to hear the cold sting of no. Not once, but again and again. Doors slam, emails go unanswered. The weight of rejection threatens to dull your spirit, whispering that you're not enough. Motivation, it's long gone, scattered like ash in the wind. But you pause. You remember the standard you set long ago: persistence over pride. You vowed to keep striking, to refine your work with every blow, just as a blacksmith hones a blade through relentless effort. Each rejection becomes a spark in your forge. You rewrite the proposal at midnight, hands trembling from exhaustion, but driven by an unshakable code. You seek feedback, not flattery. You study your craft, not for applause, but to sharpen your edge. Months pass, and the rejections pile up, until one day a door creaks open. A client sees the grit in your work, the polish born of persistence. They say yes. That single victory isn't just a contract, it's proof of your standard. You didn't wait for motivation to save you. You forged ahead, hammer in hand, shaping your will with every strike. The lesson burns bright: standards, like blades, are not born in ease. They are crafted in the fire of challenge, tempered by your refusal to break. This is the takeaway: your will is your weapon, and only you can sharpen it. Now see yourself as a parent standing at the edge of a hectic day. Work emails buzz like a swarm, social media tempts with endless scrolls, and exhaustion pulls at your limbs like gravity. Your child sits nearby, small hands clutching a book, eyes searching for you, not just your presence, but your heart. It's easier to give in to distraction, to let the world steal your focus. Motivation to be the perfect parent wanes under the weight of life's demands. But deep within, you've carved a standard presence over perfection. You swore to be there, truly there, for the moments that matter, just as a blacksmith commits to every strike, knowing each one shapes the blade. So you turn off the phone. You silence the noise. You sit down, knees aching, and read that story for the third time, voice steady despite the fatigue. You listen to their laughter, their questions letting their world become yours. It's not glamorous. No one applauds. But in that quiet act of showing up, you forge a bond stronger than steel. Years later, your child won't remember the book, but they'll carry the warmth of your unwavering presence. That's the standard you upheld, not because you felt inspired, but because you chose to. The fire of distraction burned hot, but you struck through it, shaping connection with deliberate care. The lesson echoes standards are not loud victories. They are quiet commitments honed in the unseen moments. Let's step back and gaze into the furnace of your life. Challenges, rejection, doubt, exhaustion are not barriers. They are the heat that shapes you. A blacksmith doesn't curse the fire for burning too fiercely. They use it to transform raw iron into a blade of purpose. So too must you embrace the struggles that test your standards. Motivation is a fickle flame flickering out when the winds of hardship blow. But a standard, it's the anvil beneath your hammer, the unyielding foundation that holds when all else falters. How many times have you abandoned your resolve because the heat felt unbearable? How often have you mistaken discomfort for defeat? Consider this: every no you face, every moment of sacrifice is a strike against the raw material of your character. It's not meant to break you, it's meant to refine you. When you commit to a standard, whether it's persistence in your craft or presence in your relationships, you declare that no storm will dull your edge. Pain is not your enemy, it's your forge. Weariness is not your end, it's your tempering. You don't need to feel ready or inspired to act. You need only to honor the code you've set. As Napoleon Hill once wrote in Think and Grow Rich, strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Let that truth sear into you. Your standards are not built in comfort. They are forged in the relentless heat of life's trials. Stand firm, strike hard, become unbreakable. Pause for a moment and feel the weight of the hammer in your hand. Every day you face a choice to swing with purpose or to lay down your tools. Standards are not inherited. They are chosen moment by moment in the quiet battles no one sees. A blacksmith doesn't shape a blade by accident. Each strike is deliberate, each angle calculated, even when the arms ache and the fire scorches. So it is with you. Upholding a standard amidst challenges isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small, steady choices that carve your path. Have you ever considered how many dreams you've buried for the sake of ease? How often have you let distraction dull the blade of your focus? Your standards are your compass when the fog of life obscures the way. They don't bend to your mood or the world's whims. They demand that you show up, that you act even when the furnace of challenge roars loudest. Think of a river cutting through stone, not with force, but with persistence. That's your power. You don't need to feel strong to uphold your code. You need only to choose it again and again. As Viktor E. Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Wield that freedom. Let your choices be the strikes that shape your will. Let your standards be the blade that endures. Now let's forge something tangible. Creating and upholding a standard starts with clarity. Take a moment today, right now if you can, and write down one core standard you will not compromise no matter the challenge. Is it persistence in your work? Presence with your loved ones? Honesty in your words? Be specific. This isn't a vague wish. It's your anvil, the unmovable truth you'll return to when the heat of life burns hot. Write it where you'll see it daily. A notebook, a sticky note on your desk, a reminder on your phone. Next, anticipate the fire. Challenges will come. Rejection, distraction, doubt. When they do, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, does this align with my standard? If the answer is no, step back. Refocus. Take one small action that honors your code even if it's hard. If you're a professional facing a setback, send one more email. If you're a parent pulled by distractions, put down the device for 10 minutes. These small strikes shape your blade. Finally, reflect each week. Look at where you upheld your standard and where you wavered. Adjust. Refine. Your will isn't static, it's a living forge. Keep striking. As James Allen said in As a Man Thinketh, you are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. Build your standard with intention, and it will build you. Upholding a standard amidst challenges requires vigilance. Life will test you, dulling your resolve with endless distractions and excuses. Here's how to guard your edge. First, set boundaries tied to your standard. If your code is presence, carve out non-negotiable time, say an hour each evening, where the world cannot intrude. Turn off notifications. Be unreachable to all but what matters. If your standard is persistence, commit to a daily action, however small, that moves you forward. One page written, one call made. Protect these acts as a blacksmith guards the forge. Second, prepare for doubt. When challenges strike, your mind will whisper to quit. Counter it with evidence. Keep a record of past victories, times you upheld your standard and overcame. A journal, a note, even a photo that reminds you of your strength. Glance at it when the fire burns too hot. Finally, surround yourself with heat that shapes, not destroys. Seek people who honor their own standards, who challenge you to stay sharp. Avoid those who dull your purpose with negativity. Your edge is yours to maintain. Guard it fiercely. Every day you uphold your standard, you forge a stronger will. Keep at it. The blade of your resolve will cut through any storm. As the furnace of this section cools, let's temper the lessons we forged together. You've seen how a professional turned rejection into triumph by clinging to a standard of persistence, how a parent carved connection through the sacrifice of presence. You felt the heat of challenge as the fire that shapes, not shatters your will. Through philosophical depths and practical steps, one truth stands unyielding. Your standards are your blade, honed not by fleeting motivation, but by deliberate, relentless effort. The takeaway burns clear: your iron will is not a gift. It is a creation built strike by strike in the face of life's hardest tests. You don't need to wait for inspiration to act. You need only to uphold the code you've set, to choose it when the weight feels unbearable, to sharpen it when the world seeks to dull your edge. As we prepare to journey onward, carry this fire within you. The next section will challenge you to wield your standards in new arenas, to test their strength against greater storms. Until then, stand at your forge. Feel the hammer in your hand. Know that every strike shapes your destiny. Final mantra: strike with purpose. Your blade is forged in every choice. Picture a river, relentless and unyielding, carving its path through ancient stone. It does not rage with sudden fury or falter when the rock resists. No, it flows day after day, drop after drop, until the unmovable bends to its will. This is the power of consistency, the silent force that transforms the smallest actions into monumental triumphs. And you, standing at the edge of your own journey, must understand this truth: you don't need fleeting bursts of motivation to move forward. You need a standard, a bedrock of resolve that guides your every step. In this moment, let the river's lesson sink into your soul. You are not here to chase fleeting highs. You are here to build lasting impact. Feel the current of consistency calling you. Will you answer? Welcome to The Current of Consistency, where we dive deep into the heart of what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. This isn't about waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about forging a standard, a personal code that anchors you when the winds of doubt howl. Let's journey together through stories of grit, reflections on enduring truths, and practical steps to make consistency your greatest ally. You've come this far. Now let's carve your path. Imagine yourself as an artist, brush in hand, staring at a blank canvas in a dimly lit room. The world outside buzzes with noise, demands distractions, and the seductive pull of instant gratification. You've dreamed of creating something timeless, a body of work that speaks your truth. But the first stroke feels clumsy. Days pass and the canvas remains untouched. Doubt creeps in like a shadow. What's the point? It whispers. No one will see this. No one will care. You could walk away, let the dream dissolve into the ether. But something inside you stirs a quiet vow. You set a standard one piece every day, no matter how small, no matter how imperfect. At first, it's a battle. Mornings come when your hands tremble with exhaustion, when the blank page feels like a mountain you'll never climb. Yet you show up. A sketch here, a splash of color there. Some days it's barely a whisper of effort, a single line drawn in haste. But you adhere to your standard. Weeks turn into months and months into years. The stack of work grows hundreds of pieces each, a testament to your resolve. Some are flawed raw with the weight of struggle. Others shimmer with unexpected beauty. And then one day you step back. What you see isn't just a collection of art. It's a riverbed carved through stone, a legacy built drop by drop. Galleries call, people marvel. But the true victory isn't their praise, it's the standard you held when no one watched. This is the river's lesson: consistency, guided by an unwavering standard, turns fleeting effort into lasting impact. As James Allen wrote in As a Man Thinketh, a man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. You cultivated your garden day by day and reaped a harvest of monumental results. The takeaway is clear: your standard is your strength. Hold it and the world will bend to your will. Now see yourself as a runner lacing up worn sneakers on a gray, drizzling morning. The path ahead stretches endlessly slick with rain cold biting at your skin. You're not fast, you're not strong, not yet, but you've set a standard: show up every day, rain or shine. No excuses. The first run is agony, muscles scream, lungs burn, and every step feels like wading through mud. Friends laugh. Why bother? It's just a jog. Inner voices echo, rest today, start tomorrow. But you don't listen. You forged a standard, a line in the sand. You move. Days bleed into weeks. Some mornings the rain pelts harder, turning the path to a river of its own. Other days the sun blazes, sweat stinging your eyes. There are moments you stumble, knees scraping earth, doubt clawing at your resolve. Yet you rise. You show up. 1 mile becomes 2, then 5. Your stride steadies, your breath finds rhythm. And then after months of quiet persistence, the day arrives, a marathon. 26 miles of unrelenting challenge. You cross the finish line, legs trembling, heart pounding like a drum. The crowd cheers, but their voices fade. What echoes louder is the truth: you didn't just run a race. You carved a path through stone, drop by drop, step by step. The river's wisdom shines here, a standard of showing up no matter the storm transforms small actions into towering achievements. As Hal Elrod reminds us in The Miracle Morning, consistency is the key to achieving and maintaining momentum. Your momentum built a marathon from mere steps. The lesson burns bright: hold your standard high, and no distance is too far. Let's pause and look deeper into the current of consistency. You might think greatness demands grand gestures, epic leaps, dramatic transformations, but the truth is quieter, humbler. Greatness is born in the small, the mundane, the seemingly insignificant. A single brushstroke, a single step, a single choice to show up when every fiber of your being screams to stop. Why do so many falter here? Why do you sometimes hesitate at the edge of effort? Because the small feels powerless. It lacks the thrill of instant reward. Yet consider the river. Does it carve through stone with a single mighty wave? No. It works in whispers, in droplets, in endless repetition. Each drop is small, but together they shape the unshapable. Your standard is the current that guides these drops. Without it, effort scatters like rain on barren ground. With it, every small action aligns, flows, builds. Pain is not your enemy here. It's the stone you must cut through. Fatigue is not your end. It's the marker of progress. What if you redefine small as sacred? What if every tiny step became a brick in the cathedral of your vision? Consistency tethered to a standard is alchemy. It turns the ordinary into the eternal. So ask yourself, what small action have you dismissed today? What drop of effort could carve your path if only you let it flow? Now let's reflect on the nature of a standard itself. A standard is not a feeling, it's a decision. Motivation comes and goes like a fickle wind, lifting you one moment, abandoning you the next. But a standard stands firm, a compass in the storm, a lighthouse piercing the fog. When you're lost in doubt, when the path feels like a labyrinth of endless obstacles, your standard points the way. It doesn't ask if you feel ready. It demands that you act anyway. Why do so many drift aimlessly through life? Because they chase the wind of motivation instead of anchoring to the rock of a standard. Think of the river again. Its current doesn't waver with the weather. It doesn't pause when the stone grows harder. It flows because that is its nature, its unbreakable code. You too must define your code. Your standard isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's the promise to show up, to act, to carve forward even when the world seems to stand against you. Have you set your compass yet? Have you drawn a line in the earth that says, this is who I am and this is how I move? If not, now is the time. Let your standard be the current that guides you and watch as the stone of impossibility yields to your steady flow. Let's turn philosophy into action. Consistency isn't a mystery, it's a practice. Start with this: choose one small, repeatable action tied to your vision. If you're building a skill, commit to 10 minutes a day. If you're chasing health pledge, to walk a single mile. Make it so small it feels almost trivial. But here's the key: tie it to a standard. Write it down. I will do this every day, no matter the weather, no matter my mood. Place this vow where you'll see it on your mirror, your desk, your phone. Let it stare back at you like a silent challenge. When the urge to skip arises, and it will pause, breathe. Ask yourself, am I honoring my standard or am I bending to a fleeting excuse? Then act. Track your progress, not for pride, but for proof. Mark each day you show up. Watch the marks grow like drops forming a stream. Over time, this small act will compound. 10 minutes becomes an hour. 1 mile becomes 10. Your standard will hold you when motivation fails. Remember, the river doesn't carve stone in a day. It works in drops. So start with one. Today, right now. Here's another step to cement consistency. Protect your standard like a fortress. Distractions will come, endless notifications, well-meaning interruptions, the siren call of comfort. Your standard is your shield. Set boundaries to guard it. If your daily action happens at dawn, let nothing encroach on that hour. Tell those around you, this time is mine. If late nights are your space to create silence, your phone, close the door. Build a wall around your focus. When doubt strikes, and it will have a ritual to recenter. Write down one reason you set the standard. Keep it close. Read it when the current feels weak. If you falter, don't spiral into shame. Reset. Return to your standard the next day. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. Guard your persistence. Let your standard be the carbon that hardens your resolve. One lapse doesn't erase the river's path. Pick up the flow. Keep carving. As we stand at the close of the current of consistency, let the river's truth echo within you. You've seen how an artist's daily brushstroke built a legacy, how a runner's unbroken stride conquered a marathon. You felt the silent power of small actions and the unshakable strength of a standard as your compass. The key lesson burns bright: consistency guided by a standard transforms the smallest efforts into monumental results. You don't need motivation's fleeting spark to light your way. You need a standard, a current that flows through every choice every day until the stone of impossibility crumbles before you. Let this truth anchor you as we prepare to journey deeper. Ahead lies the challenge of sustaining your standard against greater storms, of forging resilience when the current feels weak. For now, hold this lesson close. You are the river. Your standard is your flow. Keep moving, keep carving, and watch the world reshape around your will. Final mantra: flow relentless. Your path is carved by steady hands. Picture yourself as a builder on a windswept hill, the foundation of a mighty fortress laid bare before you. Each brick you've placed, each act of discipline, each choice to stand firm has shaped an unyielding structure, a testament to your resolve. Why does this matter? Because life's storms will come relentless and fierce, but a fortress built on standards, not fleeting motivation, will never crumble. You don't need a burst of inspiration to keep going. You need an unbreakable code, a standard that anchors you when the gales howl loudest. Welcome to the heart of transformation. In this journey of you don't need motivation, you need a standard. We celebrate the resilience that standards forge within you. This is not about fleeting highs or temporary wins. It's about crafting a life of purpose brick by brick until you stand tall as an unbreakable fortress. Feel the weight of that truth. You are not a wanderer at the mercy of whims. You are a creator building a legacy of strength. Let's walk this path together, witnessing how standards transform struggle into triumph and prepare you for a life that endures. Imagine yourself years ago, broken by life's weight. You were a soul adrift chasing fleeting bursts of motivation to escape the chaos. Bills piled high, dreams felt like distant stars, and every setback carved a deeper wound. You'd start strong, new plans, bold promises, but when the spark faded, so did your resolve. Until one day you stopped. You looked at the rubble of your efforts and decided no more. You set a standard. Not a grand goal, but a simple ironclad rule: show up every day no matter how you feel. If you faltered, you'd rise again before the sunset. That was your brick, your first piece of the fortress. Fast forward to now. You stand on that same hill of struggle, but the view has changed. You've built a life of stability, not perfection, but persistence. The bills are paid not because of luck, but because you showed up day after grinding day. When a recent crisis struck, a job loss, a personal blow you didn't shatter, your standard held you steady. You paused, assessed, and rebuilt. As Napoleon Hill once said, strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Your fortress, crafted from the bricks of discipline, stood firm amidst the storm. The lesson is clear: standards don't just save you in moments of crisis, they shape you into someone who cannot be broken. Every choice to uphold your code builds a wall no adversity can breach, preparing you for a purpose greater than fleeting comfort. Now picture a team on the brink of collapse. Deadlines loom, morale is a distant memory, and whispers of blame echo through the room. You are their leader, but not by title, alone by example. Years ago, you learned that motivation is a fickle friend. It comes and goes, leaving chaos in its wake. So you forge a standard of accountability: own every mistake, celebrate every effort, and never demand what you won't do yourself. This became your cornerstone, the first brick in your fortress of trust. One grueling project tested everything. A critical error yours threatened to derail months of work. The team watched, waiting for excuses or deflection. Instead, you stood before them, admitted the fault, and outlined the fix. You stayed late not because you had to, but because your standard demanded it. Slowly, they followed. One by one, they owned their missteps, not out of fear, but out of respect. The project succeeded not through a burst of inspiration, but through a shared code. As John C. Maxwell wrote, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Your standard rippled outward, building a collective fortress of resilience. The takeaway shines bright when you live by a standard. You don't just transform yourself, you ignite change in others. Each brick of accountability strengthens not only your life, but the lives you touch, crafting a purpose that echoes beyond you. Let's pause and dig deeper. What does it mean to build a fortress in a world that celebrates quick wins and shallow victories? Standards are not sexy. They don't glitter like motivation's empty promises. They are the quiet, heavy bricks you lay when no one watches. They are the choice to wake early when your body begs for rest, to speak truth when silence is easier, to keep moving when every fiber screams to quit. Standards are the foundation of your unbreakable life, a fortress that no storm can topple. Think of life as a relentless gale tearing at everything unrooted. Motivation is a paper kite, beautiful but frail, shredded in moments. Standards, though, are stone, unyielding, eternal. Have you ever considered how much you've already endured? How many tempests you've weathered, not because you felt inspired, but because you refused to break your code? Pain is not your enemy. It's the mortar binding your bricks. Each struggle, each disciplined choice hardens your walls. You are not building for today's calm, but for tomorrow's chaos. A life of purpose doesn't emerge from fleeting highs. It rises from the steady, uncelebrated work of upholding what you stand for. So look within. See the fortress taking shape. Every no to temptation, every yes to duty is a brick. How tall will you build it? How strong will you stand when the next storm roars? Let's reflect further. Resilience is not just survival, it's the art of turning scars into strength. When you commit to a standard, you're not merely enduring, you're crafting a legacy. Think of your life as a fortress on a cliff, visible to all who pass. Each brick tells a story of a battle won, a doubt silenced, a promise kept. This isn't about you alone. It's about those who watch, those who will inherit the shelter of your example. A standard is a gift to the future, a blueprint for others to build their own strongholds. Have you ever wondered who looks to you for strength, who sees your resolve and finds courage to lay their own bricks? Standards prepare you for a life of purpose because they strip away the illusion of ease. They teach you that meaning is found in the grind, not the glory. Like a builder chiseling stone under a scorching sun, you don't see the full fortress in a day. But over time, the walls rise, and so does your understanding of why you build. You build to stand for something. You build to protect what matters. You build because a life without standards is a life at the mercy of every passing wind. So embrace the weight of each brick. Let resilience be your signature, etched into every corner of your fortress. You are not just surviving, you are shaping a monument to what it means to live with unwavering strength. Now let's turn reflection into action. Building a fortress starts with one brick, one standard you refuse to break. If you're staring at a life of chaos or unfulfilled dreams, don't wait for motivation to strike, it won't. Instead, choose a single, non-negotiable rule today. Maybe it's waking at the same time every morning, no excuses. Maybe it's dedicating 30 minutes daily to a skill, rain or shine. Write it down. Make it small but sacred. This is your first brick, the foundation of your unbreakable life. When doubt creeps in, and it will pause, ask yourself, if I break this now, what am I building? Remind yourself that every time you uphold this standard, you're adding strength to your fortress. Track your progress not for perfection, but for proof. Mark each day you keep your word. Over weeks, you'll see the wall rising. You'll feel the transformation, not as a fleeting rush, but as a quiet, unshakable power. Standards build resilience, and resilience prepares you for a purpose that outlasts any storm. Start now, lay that brick, your fortress awaits. Here's another step to solidify your strength. A fortress isn't just built, it must be defended. Once you've set a standard, life will test it. Distractions, fatigue, and old habits will claw at your walls. Guard them fiercely. Create a ritual to reinforce your code. If your standard is to never miss a workout, lay out your gear the night before. If it's to speak with integrity, rehearse hard truths in private before they're needed. Build barriers around your commitment, making it harder to falter than to follow through. When temptation strikes, breathe. Recall the storms you've already faced and how your standards held you steady. Visualize your fortress, see the brick you're protecting. Then act. Choose the hard right over the easy wrong. Each defense strengthens your resolve, preparing you for a life where purpose isn't a dream, but a reality you've constructed. As Jim Rohn once said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Guard your walls daily and watch how resilience becomes your very nature. You're not just building, you're becoming unbreakable. As we stand on this hill gazing at the fortress you've built, let's anchor the truth we've uncovered. Standards are not a burden, they are your salvation. They transform you from a wanderer chasing fleeting highs into a builder of an unbreakable life. Through stories of personal triumph and shared leadership, through reflections on resilience and purpose, and through actionable steps to lay and guard your bricks, we've seen how standards forge a strength that no storm can shatter. The key lesson remains: standards, not motivation, are the bedrock of a life that endures and inspires. You are ready for what's next, for the greater challenges and deeper purposes that await. Keep building, keep defending, keep rising. Your fortress is not just a shelter, it's a beacon, a testament to what you stand for. As you move forward, carry this mantra in your heart, a reminder of the power you wield with every disciplined choice. Brick by brick, build your unbreakable life.